Secretary of State Mike Pompeo is asking for a few more days in the investigation into the fate of Washington Post journalist Jamal Khashoggi. Meanwhile, a new report in the New York Times says a companion to Saudi Arabia's crown prince was seen going into the Saudi consulate in Istanbul just before Khashoggi went inside. The journalist has been gone for 2 weeks, and Saudi authorities continue to deny any involvement. For more, we go to former CIA officer and counterterrorism expert Philip Giraldi. Thank you, Philip, for joining us.
Thank you.
Philip, what, in your view, is the most compelling evidence we currently have for the premeditated murder of Jamal Khashoggi at the hands of Saudi authorities?
Well, I think the most compelling evidence is the evidence provided by the Turkish government and by the Turkish media controlled by the government, which is essentially that the Turks have a recording, it seems, if not a video, of the killing taking place. This is, from an intelligence point of view, exceedingly valuable information, because the Turks are essentially telling the Saudis, look, we have penetrated your consulate general, and we have microphones and maybe video right inside the building. And this is, as far as I'm concerned, as compelling as can be.
Well, we know Khashoggi had just started an advocacy group called Democracy for the Arab World now, and was considered a dissident to the monarchy. Do you think that this made Khashoggi a prime target for the Saudi regime? And also, we knew going into it, he told his fiancée, if I don't come out, they've killed me. So some reason he knew, and we've been told that even American intelligence probably might have even had a hint that this could happen. Do we think this made him a prime target, and what other motives could there have been?
To be honest, I can't think of any other motives, and I've talked to both Turkish and Saudi officials that are following this story, and they can't come up with any motives either. And bear in mind that Khashoggi was not exactly a harsh critic of the monarchy. He was a critic indeed, but he was essentially a friendly critic in terms of developments inside Saudi Arabia, and he was basically also writing for publications like the Washington Post in the United States, which would not have supported a hard line. So the motive here remains kind of strange. Clearly he was killed. There are, as you suggest, there were stories that U.S. intelligence knew at least something about in advance, which could cause embarrassment. And certainly there were videos taken of people coming from the airport with suitcases, going into the building, and later coming out and going back to the airport.
Well, so President Trump did say today that there will be serious consequences if it is found that journalist Khashoggi was killed by Saudi Arabia. How do you think that's going to be able to impact U.S. relations?
I don't believe President Trump on this. I think Trump is stringing the story out, as is Pompeo, because they're looking for a cover story. And a cover story would be something that would make the Turks happy, meaning money. It would make the Saudis happy that they get out from under this, and it would make the United States happy that the status quo in which Saudi Arabia buys lots of weapons and uses its uses the money it earns from its oil sales to convert into dollars to buy U.S. Treasury bonds. So there's a winner on every side if they get the story straight and the cover story works.
So do you think the murderers of Khashoggi might have actually underestimated the type of coverage and outcry that would come from this? Do they think they were just murdering someone that was a dissident going in for his marriage license?
Well, I suspect that they thought that there would be plausible denial, is what we say in the intelligence profession, where they would be able to say that they hadn't done anything, that, gee, we don't know, this guy just came into the building and later left, and we don't know what happened to him. But the fact that the Turks have apparently physical evidence of what did take place has obviously made that story a bit difficult to sustain.
Well, ultimately, do you think, yes or no, do you think we'll actually ever find out the truth of what happened in that embassy?
Yeah, I think we will. I think at some point the Turks are probably going to produce the evidence, unless the Saudis buy them off, which is a distinct possibility.
Money's always involved. Thank you for joining us.